All right, let's see what happens here. We were excited, baby. We got 40 seconds left, dude. 40 seconds left. My gosh. It's been a long time, man. It's been a long time. Four seconds here. Oops.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Palia's Gameplay First Look. I'm your host, Trisha Hirschberger, and I could not be more excited to walk you through the world of Palia. Now,
What's going on?
Phil,
this, what's going on, my friend? We got Ducky in the house, Milky Way Cookie as well.
And I know everyone is so excited because we just recently announced that the beta is coming for Palia.
Really excited to be here today.
So excited. Aiden, thank you for being here. Sitting next to
Oops, what happened?
Is for being here. Thank you all for being here. Let's meet our panelists. First up, we've got Palia's game director and creative lead, Aiden. Welcome to the stream.
Hey, everybody. It's just amazing to be here after all this time working on the game, to be at the point where we're finally ready to show something. Thank you for your patience. Really excited to be here today.
So excited, Aiden. Thank you for being here. Sitting next to Aiden, we've got the scribe behind Palia's lore.
What's going on, Prakash? Thank you very much for tuning in. Waiting 3 years. Yeah, dude, me too, man. Me too, Milky Way. What's going on? Phildus in the house.
I can't believe I'm actually sitting here in the Ormuzhorn Inn. The Ormuzhorn is a big hub for our villagers and players in the game, and it's just surreal.
Chowing down on a sandwich this morning. What's going on with you guys?
Very cool setting for sure. Also in the inn with us today,
Sora in the house.
who keeps the team on track with Palia's development. Welcome, Maxwell.
Thanks, Trish. Really excited to show folks what we've got in store today.
Yes, it is going to be fantastic. And sitting just on the end of the inn tavern chair, here we've got Ambrielle, Palia's
New MMO coming out that I've been playing in beta for quite some time now.
Welcome, Ambrielle.
Thank you so much.
Embryo.
I really wanted to wait all this time and not be able to say anything, so couldn't be more excited to start sharing with all of you today.
So since the excitement is so high today, in case you've missed it, let's go ahead and take a look at Palia's
New MMO coming out. Ooh, we got Kellogg in the house, resub for 15 months. What's going on, Kellogg? All right, some gameplay, guys. Here we go. Watching your live stream? Nice. I'm expecting it to be about 90 minutes to 2 hours is what my guess is for the gameplay. We'll see. I think they're supposed to have a Q&A as well, which I'll be excited about, asking some questions and stuff. Yeah, it's really good. It's a community. It's a MMO. It's a community-driven like simulation type game. There's no comment. There's no like combat in the game besides just like hunting and fishing and gathering and stuff. There's no like bosses, no mobs, nothing like that for you to kill. It's literally just a really fun, passive, you know, cozy survival type community game. 1 hour at least. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Very excited for it, Prakash. Yeah, it's a community game. Yep. So this is about the extent of the combat here, as you can see there, with shooting the bows and stuff. But this entire room that you're seeing here can be decorative. So all of this stuff is player placed. You can place everything down. You can even build the layout of your houses. These are going to be some of your workbenches and crafting benches that you can use. Here's some examples of how all of this stuff can be upgraded over time. Adding with additional buildings, expanding to your additional building, that kind of stuff. Mines and stuff for you to explore. Ores for you to find. Recipes for you to find and craft. How many GB is it? I have no clue. It's coming to Switch and PC. That's currently what they've announced publicly so far. So Switch and PC. Switch is supposed to be here, I believe, for holiday season at the end of the year of 2023. And then PC, we have a beta coming up in August.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what's going on,
Oh,
Fantastic
so
Gaming?
gorgeous. Well, we've got so much to dive into. Aiden, tell us about Palia.
Absolutely. Well, Palia at high level, it's a cozy community simulation MMO.
There you
in
go.
Which you get to be transported into this amazing, whimsical fantasy world, build the house of your dreams, develop relationships with all our unique cast of characters, and of course, most importantly,
No, my stream's
get to
not
live with
lagging,
all your
Fantastic
friends
Gaming. If it's
and
lagging for
connect
you, then
into
refresh
your
it.
game.
What's going on,
All your
Scorch?
friends can be a part of it.
Oh, I just can't wait. Now,
You can't
for
download it,
everyone
Sora. It's not
watching
available
right
yet.
Now, we've got a lot to get into today. Today, we will be giving you an exclusive deep dive into the world of Palia.
Ooh, exclusive?
We'll be taking a first look at Palia's gameplay. We'll get into some of the lore and meet some of the villagers. We will dive into a quest and even check out multiplayer, and we'll be taking a look at the game's cosmetic items and art as well. So,
All right,
like I
sweet.
said,
Let's do it.
delve into. I am someone who is big into character creation. I saw in the beta announced trailer, trying on some different hairstyles, some different outfits. So, if I'm just getting started in Palia, how do I make my character?
Absolutely. So this is actually the very first experience that you do in the game. You know, once you've logged in, and you can see we jump right into the lore right off the bat.
Yeah, eventually we're going to learn what this swirly pink purple void is.
Brad with a $5 donation. Thank you very much, dude. I appreciate it. Says can't wait. Yeah, I know, dude. It's gonna be so much fun.
The story is that humans are coming back to the world of Palia for the first time in thousands of years. Creating your character is a big
$5 dono already off the bat. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm very impressed right now already with the amount of options that you have. We took a look at face shape. Now we're looking at various skin tones, different eye.
Yeah, they add like a full customization for your character, which is really nice.
I tended to make someone that looked a little bit like me, but with some extra pizzazz. Olivia, are you someone who creates a character that looks like yourself, or do you go as far from that as you can?
I try to make them look as close to myself as humanly possible. Like if a game doesn't have like copper long hair, I'm like, oh, I'm already turned off for this game. So I'm glad we have so many options, so many people can, you know, be able to.
Well, with a cozy simulation game, you would expect that, right? I mean, like you got to have some sort of customization. Otherwise, if you don't, then you know you kind of end up at a point where you know, lose that immersion.
One of those players out there, and I know some of you out there are in this space as well, where I often make a kind of feminine character in when I play video games, and so I just love what options that we've been able to create there. Just so many awesome hairstyles to express, you know, a character just the way that you want.
And speaking of hairstyles, is this a secondary hair color that I see, or you can choose your primary and secondary, so you've got a two-tone going there, Olivia?
You can have a secondary, primary. Your eyebrows can be a different color. And to Aiden's point, where he was saying, you know, he usually likes to create a more feminine character. Something that I think is really cool with our game is that whether you have a masculine or feminine body type, you can wear whatever clothes you want. So you can have a masculine body type and wear a dress, and have a feminine voice. You can,
which is really nice for those that, you know what I mean, like that want to explore in those other avenues and stuff. It does add a lot of, like I said, customization and realism to it because it makes you feel like you belong in the world of Palia.
So really, you have options. At the end of the day, limitless options, and I assume more will be added over time as this is a living, breathing.
Absolutely. It's a live service game, and so that's one of the great things. You know, we're happy about the options that we're starting off with, but you know, this is day one.
What's going on, Sean? Thank you very much for tuning into the live stream.
We're going to continue to add things into the future, so definitely as players, you know, let us know what we're missing. We're excited to keep expanding this world over time.
Excellent. And our character, Maddie Mush, I believe is what the name was there.
Enjoy the stress test, and I'll be playing religiously during close beta. Yeah, dude, me too, man. Me too. We'll have to join up, dude. We'll have to join the same. We'll have to either create a neighborhood or join a neighborhood.
Right into our introduction cinematic. No small amount of drama for how you enter the world of Palia. So let's check that out.
Yeah, we love drama. So what are we looking at here?
These are some ancient human ruins. It's a place that our Majiri, which are our kind of purple-skinned elf-like race, what they call the Phoenix Shrine. I wonder how they got that name, given the statue. And this is an archaeologist.
Yeah, it's in August, Sora.
And she's exploring these ruins and has triggered a magical event. So as we can see, there's some magic brewing up there. There's this sphere coming from the heavens. I wonder what we'll see.
I mean, that sphere of light looks very familiar. Maybe
Yeah,
we saw it at the end of the character
Oh, look,
creator.
it's Mushy Maddie.
Oh my gosh,
Well,
it's
hooray.
you or me, one way or the other. Yeah.
I've actually got a code for you guys that I'm going to put here in the chat. So give me 1 second here.
For the first time, and seeing this world, and a very surprised archaeologist looking at them.
Olivia, do we as the player know where we've come from? I mean, just the fact that we're kind of looking at our hands makes me think maybe this is a rebirth or
Alrighty, here you go, guys. So if you do exclamation point Palia in the chat, this is my refer a friend. If you do exclamation point Palia, Nightbot will post that link for you guys. Should.
But other than that,
maybe.
You know, they haven't really experienced anything before, so this new home.
I don't know, maybe not.
And
Mike, what's going on, dude?
Who is just kind of examining some ruins is probably quite shocked at this point. Yes, Aiden?
There it is, perfect.
Absolutely. So while there are many...
So Nightbot just posted it here in the chat. So if you guys do exclamation point Palia in the live chat, it'll actually post the link. That is my recruit a friend. So if you guys are looking to register, pre-register for the game, for the MMO, you guys can utilize that link. It definitely helps support me as a content creator.
All right, now I see it looks like we're starting to run through another area. Is this kind of our first look as the character at the world of Palia?
Yeah, so this is where you're doing, getting adjusted to some of your basic movement. It looks like this player knows how to get their way around all right. But yeah, here's the big reveal as you go out into Kilima Valley itself.
Gorgeous. Look at that rainbow. Look at that.
Yeah, I've always
mist.
loved the
And
graphics behind
assume we
Palia.
will
I
be
thought
able
it just
to
looks
explore
really, really
everything we're
nice.
looking at right now.
It is, absolutely. So, run down to that town. That's going to be the next step that we're going to go through here.
Okay, perfect. And does that town have a name, Olivia?
Yeah, it is called Kilima Village. So the root word is similar to Kilimanjaro. It kind of just helps you pronounce it there. But it's a small town. Used to be a bit bigger trade hub, but kind of has dried up. Sleepy little town. We've got 23 people living there.
Even though I know a lot of the lore and
I
backstory,
think
it's
those,
still
like,
nice to
small
be
town
able
vibes can
to
be really
listen
cozy
to
with
the
feeling
developers
that we
actually
want to
explain it.
throughout
I
the
think it
game.
does
It's
help
like
out.
coziness.
Yeah, the
Oh, it
graphics were impressive for
definitely
sure for
feels
82.
cozy,
Yeah,
and it
exactly.
feels like a
Well, a
world
lot of
that
the developers
I
are actually
personally would love to
from,
explore and visit,
employees
and I'm
from
sure everyone watching
older
feels
Blizzard
the same
games
way.
and
Now,
things
is
like
Maddie
even
just
Riot
extra
Studios.
curious,
So like they've got a
in going
lot
to
of
the
really
village,
good
or is there
developers
something
on their
that Maddie's trying
team.
to do right now?
So Gina has told Maddie that in order to kind of get their housing plot to get themselves set up, they need to talk to Ashura, the innkeeper. Ashura is kind of like the dad of the village. He used to be a war hero, but since then has become a pacifist and opened up this inn. And when the humans started emerging, he just kind of naturally took it upon himself to help people get set up. The inn's really small and can't, house hundreds of humans, so he's getting them set up with a tent.
My favorite thing about this game is graphics. Design Cities. Yeah, it's really nice.
I noticed we're also
It's got a 3D animation, Velo or
Maxwell,
Overwatch
are you the
type.
type of
Yeah, I would
player that
agree.
When you first go into a game like Palia, you want to talk to all the villagers, or are you going right for the quest?
I do like to quickly chat and just get to know who I'm around.
Yeah, of
and
course.
Then I beeline it straight for. All right, let's get this going.
Yeah, I would. I would message.
And,
I would look at
Ashura has
everybody.
quite an interesting look to him. So, Ambrielle, I'm going to ask you to kind of weigh in on the character design of Ashura.
Oh yeah, I think Ashura's design is really awesome. It's cool to see. He's got these tattoos. He's got a dog tag around his neck, so you can really tell. What
No,
his
there is no
background
gotcha
is like.
system, Dontron.
But he's
No,
got,
no
the rolled
gotcha
up
system
sleeves and the
whatsoever.
apron now he's got a very soft expression. So
No,
yeah, you
there
can
is
see
no
where he came
combat in
from,
the
but
game, so
also
it's not at
he's,
all like
a nice
Genshin Impact.
father figure now, like Olivia said.
I love all the details of the character that you just see in the visual design. I think the art team has done and the animation team has done a great job bringing all that stuff to life.
Yeah.
Really great.
So incredible, and so incredible of Ashura to welcome us as new players to this world. So
Correct. Yep, Brad.
I saw there
Yep.
we took a look at a map really quickly, and then it took us to this new area. Is this just outside of the village, Aiden?
Yeah, so
So
we
this is
did
your
do
private
a quick fast
hub.
forward there,
Okay.
so no teleporting through space in the game in quite that way. But this is your housing plot. So this is really going to be where
This game is kind of like, to be honest with you, it kind of reminds me, anybody that's curious, like Don in the chat, it's very similar to if I had to put something together, I would say Animal Crossing meets Sims meets Stardew Valley. All three of them came together, had a baby, that would be Palia.
Now, Olivia.
This is Hodari the miner. He's been working with Ashura to help get the housing plot set up. A nickname that our developers have for him is Hot Dari, if you can imagine why.
It's the jawline.
It's the jawline. But right now he's just teaching you how to use your axe and your pickaxe to help clear this plot of land to put down your tent.
And this plot of land is the same for every player when they first dive into the game. Now, the resources here randomly will be assorted, but then once you farm out the resources, then you will claim that plot of land. They'll probably walk you through it here, I would assume.
Down there, and then you're going to craft the tent.
Okay, and it looks like maybe we're clearing some space before we craft our tent. And for me, when I jump into a world like this, I'll clear just as much as I need to, but it looks like Maddie has cleared a whole plot. Aiden, what type of player are you? Clear the minimum or clear it all?
You know, you start off with this space inside of the fence, and I always feel inclined to just kind of tidy up a little bit before I jump back into the quest, you know? So I can really empathize with this player here, so.
I'm a full clear person. I clear everything.
Do you clear the full plot, or are you going right for placing the tent?
I go right for the minimum. In fact, sometimes I'll build the tent and realize I don't have a place to place it, and so I have to go back and just like clear a few things, and I take more time.
There's only 4, and you YouTubers reacted to Palia. Well, very nice.
This is really cool what we're seeing here. So you just saw a glimpse of the grid. And so as soon as you like take an item that can be placed, that enters you into a placement mode, surprise, surprise. And you know, you can rotate items, and eventually this will get much more robust. You can even hide the grid and place things precisely exactly where you want them.
Oh,
yeah, which is really nice. I do like that feature.
The various rotation options. I mean, it's not just 90 degrees.
You can see down at the bottom they have Control and H. If you click both of those, that will change different things.
Made a workbench.
So you can see the grid that she currently has activated right now, which will then just snap items to that grid. Or like I said, you could also use Control and click items and H and kind of move things around to like, you know, your exact dimension or degree of angle.
And, you know, as you're collecting things, one of the really cool things we added pretty early on is you can actually use the crafter and craft materials straight out of your storage bin without having to pull them out yourself. So just a little.
And this just shows you the additional plots that you can buy to expand your land. Right now, you only have that main plot accessible here.
We're looking at right now. What is this point of view?
So when you're customizing, there are 2 main views. You can do things in the 3D space, but for really large objects, it's really helpful to use that top-down view that you, by default, use the H key there, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. Wonderful. And that allows you to just kind of flip in and out. What's the best way to customize? You want to get a different look at things? Trying to give you options.
And I love that you said for really large items, we are able to start Paleo with a pretty large tent.
It's kind of surprisingly large, isn't it? Yeah. You're like, oh, I think I could actually put stuff up in here. You know, wanted to give you some space.
It's not that large, dude. Once you start packing it in there full of your stuff, it takes up a lot of space.
We get to start off with that. So thank you, Ashura and Hodari, for setting us off on a good first footing.
It's more like glamping than camping, you know?
It is.
Glamping.
It is definite glamping. Okay, so that was awesome to take a look at. After this, can we go back into Kilima Village and take a tour? I know we saw a little bit of it when we first went through to meet Ashura, but let's really take a deep dive into Kilima Village. Let's see what we've got.
Okay, so after you're done with the tutorial, you're able to just kind of jump right back into the action, and you're able to choose from like a variety of different activities. You can go and you can meet all the villagers, or you can start with our skills gameplay. I think this player may be about to talk to Ani, who's our delivery boy.
Those delivery mail.
You know, he's very high energy, very excited. That the humans are back as the most exciting thing that ever happened to him, because you know he's just this little boy who lives in a small town and dreams of doing big things. Now it looks like we're going back over to the inn.
This is where they happen to be sitting for the live stream.
And you can buy
give
food
Disney
from
vibes.
him.
Yeah, kinda. I guess I could see that.
Chat with him. He is one of our romanceable characters.
Romance.
If you're interested in dating him. I saw some meme that was like all like women secretly just want a line cook, fairy prince, or or something else, and I was like, line cooked, covered.
Honestly, Olivia, there's so many interesting characters that we've seen already in the game. I was going to ask you if they're romanceable, so thank you. Thank you for answering that question that I'm sure is burning within a lot of us.
Yeah, with it being a cozy game, there is like a romance feature where you can obviously schmooze over some of the NPCs. Now I never really pursued any of that via any of my testing,
by
but
all these activities, and you know, one of the really awesome things about Palia is, you know, while we have main quest lines that you can be chasing after, it's also one of those games where, you know, game puts the main story in front of you and half the players just go left and keep running that way.
So this is
and,
bug catching,
you know, really
right now
the
is what they're currently showing here.
Really wanted to make a game.
It's not like Pokemon, you catch the bug and then you use the bug for different recipes and different things. It's not a catching simulator.
Like we're doing a little insect catching here to get started.
Insect catching, very nice. Now, would we be catching insects because they have a worth in this world, or are we using it as a crafting component, maybe?
Yeah, a crafting component. It's a reagent.
We get into a little of each there.
Okay.
But definitely they're valued by some people out in the world of Palia, and there are, of course, more common ones, more rare ones, so you're going to have to search high and low across different times a day to really try and find and complete a collection.
Awesome. So bug catching is definitely something we can do in this world. I kind of saw there your menu for switching back and forth. Is that between different skills?
Absolutely. So that wheel allows you to really quickly just switch what equipment you have on. You'll find very frequently in Palia, you might start with a particular mission that you leave your housing plot to go out and do, but then you end up doing so many other activities that just pop up all around you. And so we really needed a way for the players to kind of hot switch between those various activities as you go, as different opportunities kind of present themselves.
As the player that gets distracted by every single shiny, I appreciate that immensely. All right, Olivia, where are we headed next? It looks like we might maybe do some fishing.
Yeah, we're at the docks. We passed by my favorite NPC.
This is probably one of my favorite pastimes in this game, dude. I just want to be the master fisherman.
But right now we're just engaging in our fishing minigame, which is super fun, super relaxing. I think it feels
Ashy, what is going on? Says YOLO.
And it's
what's going on, Ashy?
Frustratingly hard. some fishing mini games.
So you basically just line up those two lines, as you can see here, and you have to trace it. You can see that the fish goes outside of those lines. So you're moving your mouse back and forth, or your controller wheel, anyways, to try to keep it in line.
Up with the fish.
We call it the safe zone internally.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, that's one of those things. I'm like, the player base will think of a name, and no matter what we call it, it'll stick whatever they decide it is. So.
I'm a writer, so it's a parenthesis.
There we go.
It makes total sense. But Olivia, you said the fishing game is kind of a nice balance of not overly challenging, but there is some difficulty scale there.
Yeah, you know, we're really going for that easy to learn, difficult to master kind of vibe. Yeah, it's all of the fish. Like if you're just trying to kind of complete your fish collection,
sort of Genshin like fishing system. Yeah, kind of. Yep, kind of. See, I never fished in Genshin to know.
Harder to catch.
I see. So we have different difficulty levels of fish. It's all making sense now.
Yep, different levels of difficulty when it comes to fishing. Same thing with other professions in crafting. A lot of it will get more challenging the more areas that you discover and places that you go and stuff that you do.
Oh, I see a shiny. There we go. I just answered my own question. What are we collecting at this point?
This is a Sundrop Lily, which is one of our forageables that can be used for crafting furniture, like if you want to dye something, that pretty orange color. It can also be used as a gift for villagers.
Oh, all right. I'm anticipating that gifting villagers is a way to maybe gain favor with them, but I'll put a pin in the romance discussion for now. We'll get to that a little bit more later. But I see that Maddie is collecting quite a few things at the bottom. Can you kind of talk to me a little bit about the interface that we're looking at there in the lower right-hand corner?
Yeah, so that's your inventory. Basically, at any given time, you can actually customize the number of action bars you have down at the bottom and flip between them as you want. But this is kind of like the hot selection options that you have. So, if you need to eat something, which you can see our bar at the top for kind of keeping track of, what your focus bar is.
Yeah, which they don't have enough focus.
It's just a way to keep track.
You want to try to keep your focus bar maxed out at all times.
Starting to get too full.
Okay, perfect. And I see here in this player menu, we're looking at skill levels. We've got our tools. We've got some of those items there. What should players be really paying attention to when they look at that menu?
So one of the big things on the bottom left is you can see all your skills. Each of those have their own level associated with them.
Okay.
And particularly in the early game, every time that you're leveling one of those, you're going to want to go back to the skill master associated with that skill, because they're going to have some cool rewards, new gameplay, new content for you to access as you progress through there.
Excellent. Yeah, there's a lot to look at there, but I'm sure it will become commonplace the more time we get to spend in Palia. So it looks like Maddie is kind of splitting her time between a couple different activities. And do you recommend that folks kind of jack of all trades it in terms of skills, or really specialize?
Freedom, baby. They do what they want to do.
And then, you know, perhaps trade or use that to their advantage. Olivia?
I think that you can really play either way. I tend to do a little bit of
JR64.
everything.
What's going on, my
For some
friend? Glad to
reason,
have
it
you.
feels like cheating to not actually get
What is
the
this game?
things that
So
I
this
was
is Palia.
supposed
It's a
to
new
use in
MMO
a
coming
crafting
to
recipe or for a quest.
basically on
But you
PC
can
and
also
Switch
just,
in August, and
specialize in one
by the end of the
thing
year.
and then trade that stuff for gold, or you can ask other players.
You can see it's
for
hidden behind me
things.
here.
There's
They went away.
Tons of different ways to play.
And I imagine that we have various quests that kind of walk us through familiarizing ourselves with these various skills.
Correct. We have a bunch of different NPCs are like heads of our guild. So Einar's head of the fishing guild,
Nice.
Alani's head of the bug catching guild, and we have quests with those characters to help you learn those skills.
Perfect. So once we've gotten all our skill levels up, how do we go in and build the house of our dreams? Let's see.
So
Yeah,
you
let's
can
check
see
this
we've
out.
got
I love
fast-forwarding
this.
time again here a bit, and we've got a reasonably progressed house, something aspirational. We've definitely moved beyond the tent phase here, and again, we're kind of jumping between those different housing customization views in order to build things out just the way we want. In this case, the player is looking at the kind of attachment points between their buildings and the walls on the outside, which allow you to, if on the inside, do you want there to be no wall between the rooms? Do you want
Okay.
there to be a small door, like a double door? And this is something that you'll also unlock more options for over time. Same thing with the windows on the outside. You can go no windows all the way up to, really nice customized big things.
Did we just put an addition on our house?
Absolutely. So that's also one of the big things you're seeing. Again, mentioned that this is kind of an early game. You can have a mansion if that's where you want to take this
Wow.
experience to, add a bunch of additions to it. But yeah, as you add those, acquire new rooms within the city hall, you have to build those and go through some of the craft time associated with it. It's also a nice thing to have your friend come out and help you get through.
Now, when you mention craft time, is that in-game time? Is that real-world time? How does that work?
So for the buildings, once you've gotten the materials there is a real-world craft time associated with it. Generally, there's a little bit of time associated with bigger things in the world.
Excellent.
There you
And
go. So
I
you can
saw
see the
we
build
just
time's
kind
gonna
of
take
added
4 hours.
This whole addition to our home, but if you wanted to get really granular and do it, just by doing the walls yourself and really get in there and customize, that's an option too, correct?
Right, so you can kind of change the connections between them. You can also customize the wallpaper, the flooring, and of course decor, interior customization. That's something that is really rich in Palia. We have hundreds of items for you to find, and you can really put them throughout your house just the way you want to.
Right.
I wish that in real life you could add an addition to your house this quickly. It's like 4 hours, like that'd be great.
Just
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, man, I'll do that any day.
Yeah, it took me months to just convert my garage, so.
Wood and stone in 4 hours, perfect. I agree, that would be lovely. All right, it looks like Maddie is going inside so we can see some of these interiors that you were talking about and some of these interior options. Which interior options are we looking at right now? Can you kind of walk us through some of the
So
things that
everything
we're
in this
seeing,
room can be
Olivia?
placed, by the way. The build times at
So
least
this
seems
is-
fairly
this
generous.
player
Yeah,
is
yeah, of course.
Pretty advanced, pretty far.
And
into
obviously,
the
as you saw
game.
there, you still have to have the
they
materials
some
and
of our,
resources. So you
more
still have to put in the
chase
work to get the
furniture
resources and
items.
craft them
Emperor,
and
maybe you
make
could,
them. You can't just
talk
pick
a
something
little
and
bit
just
more
do it.
about that.
Yeah. Over time, you can, like Aiden mentioned, collect hundreds of different decor and furniture items. So yeah, this player has gotten some pretty rare stuff. So they're probably investing a lot in this crafting system, learning to make some pretty high-tier recipes, and maybe spending a little time at the underground market, picking up some super rare stuff.
Ooh, they mentioned the underground market. Okay.
Magic is a bit taboo in this world, so if you want magic items or you want some kind of, more expensive art that might have fallen off a truck, we have a cool underground market.
Oh, I love that that whole thing exists in this world. Like you said, we'll have to get more into that a little later. But I also love that Maddie is able to craft furniture items, it looks like right now. And that's a skill in and of itself. So it's not just a currency-based type of thing to get furniture. You gather the resources or trade for them, and then you craft your own furniture. That's really cool. So what is Maddie making right now?
So the Choppa is one of been the most popular characters as we've been developing the game, and so of course there are a ton of Choppa themed items, wallpapers, all sorts of things that you can find in that theme, and of course then you can use those to customize your house just the way that you want.
How beautiful. And again, look at these placement options. So Olivia, kind of walk us through, once you've created something, what is the process to then place it in the world?
It's pretty straightforward. You can either have the in-world view, like what you're seeing now.
Yeah, you can see right here. See how they have the ability to turn it to basically any degree that you want, which does add a ton of customization options.
View, which sometimes, like a really big piece like the gazebo, I kind of prefer to do in the top-down view.
Totally.
Very cool. And this house looks so beautiful. I feel like Maddie, yes, is making this house gorgeous for herself, but also maybe wants to have friends over and entertain. How does that work as far as if you wanted friends to come over your house, or maybe there are friends that you don't want to come over your house?
So permissions are a huge deal. If you remember that top-down view, there's a pull-down menu at the top there where you can set permissions on a per-player basis. And so by default, a visitor just has a small number of activities that they can do with you on the plot, but you can upgrade them to editor status, which allows them to do things like move things around in your
Which is
space,
very cool,
so
Brad. That
really
means we could technically share plots and everything of like different locations and different houses, which is sweet.
One other really important part here is, while you might spend a ton of time making this particular housing plot just perfect, you might have other people that maybe you have a totally different vision, a totally different fantasy that you want to chase together. And so we actually have the option where you can have multiple housing plots and set different permissions for other players on each of them. So a lot of control,
which is crazy.
Kind of like access,
that is wild when it comes to like all of the different permissions and
so
stuff.
There's no like PvP where someone could come destroy my home after I've crafted it just the way I want to.
No, you're giving somebody, if you give somebody editor status, they can move things around. So it is something, you want to give to somebody that you trust and you want to have, that kind of shared experience with. But there's no way that they can come in and destroy items of yours.
Dude, look, you can just have that sucker hanging all the way from the ceiling, which is crazy cool.
We're keeping it cozy and friendly.
Absolutely, cozy vibes going throughout everywhere.
Okay, perfect. Getting this hanging plant exactly where Maddie wants it here, so that the entryway
just right there in the entryway, a plant leaning sideways.
Having multiple plots. Is there a limit to that at this moment?
It's definitely more than 2.
Look at that angle, dude.
That's really cool. So you can really have that communal aspect with friends and make your own little town of plots, if you will, of sorts. That's
I like
very
that.
cool.
Town of plots.
Town of plots. There it is. I also, in games like this, really enjoy gardening, and I think a lot of folks watching...
Dude, this developer in that very first chair, doesn't he not look like the guy, Edward from Twilight movies? He looks just like that actor.
Placing another garden.
Can't remember his name.
And then you get the hoe that allows you to till. I like how therapeutic this feels. It's very tactile. After that, you can plant your seeds. Maddie has a good variety of seeds. She's got tomatoes, she's got onions, she's got carrots. And a cool thing about if you rotate your crops like that is you actually can get buffs from the tomatoes being next to the carrots. So if you're a min-maxer, you can do that.
Okay, very
Or
cool.
if you just
So there's
like the
actually
look of
buffs
this
and
one
everything
particular
depending on where you
crop,
place the crops.
You can do that. There's a lot of freedom in our gardening system, which I really like.
All right, I want to hear more about min-maxing the garden. When it comes to, are these things we have to self-discover in the game, or do we get clues throughout Palia about where to position your crops to get these bonuses?
I think Maxwell might do a good job of answering that.
Yeah, we try to make sure players are able to discover this themselves and expose that information. It's not hidden to you. And so we see the examine key there. Like if you press, again, default G, you'll be able to see the buffs that are being shared, as well as if you look at the seeds in your inventory, it'll give you a little hint about what to expect if you plant it next to a different crop. So
very
Okay,
interesting.
Great. And I see the bars as we're planting seeds. I saw the bars above that. What is that showing us?
that's the watering. So here we go. Maddie's gonna get some water in her watering can and then hop on over and make sure that the plants are well watered,
all watered
and
up,
ready to grow.
Well,
dude. I
taken
love
care
the
of.
system,
The
man. I
seed will
just
not
love
grow
the
if
whole
soil is
thing.
not
If you
watered.
love
This is perfect.
cozy
So, is this
simulation
done one
crafting
square at a
survival
time?
games,
Is there a
dude,
way to
oh,
kind of water
so good.
multiple, or is that getting into spoiler territory and we shouldn't talk about that today?
I think we could talk about it. Yeah, starting out, we're gonna give you some simple tools to get you going, but as you engage in the various skills, eventually you'll be able to craft higher tier of each of the tools. And so, you'll get a better watering can that will have maybe a wider cone to water crops and make it a little bit easier because you'll also get more soil plots. So you'll have a lot more plants to be taken care of at some point.
Level up.
Yep, level up.
Yeah, very
Level it up.
cool.
Now I see we're harvesting. When we harvest, do we have to
So,
start again?
so have you
from the
guys
seed
noticed in the
phase?
top
We
left-hand
get
side,
seeds
now
as
she's
we
got a
harvest?
full
How
green
does
bar.
work,
That
Aiden?
means her focus is fully
Yeah,
maxed.
it's
Now, they haven't talked about the
definitely
focus
something
system
that
here yet, so I don't want to spoil
You'll
anything.
start again, so you have to put seeds down. You can get seeds from a variety of sources in the game. Buying them at the store is kind of like the default basic. But we also have different kinds of seeds, like our tomato plants. You see we just harvested those, and they're going to regrow again. So you actually don't have to go back to the starting phase until you've done several harvests on a tomato plant.
This is where the min-maxers have spent a lot of time trying to spreadsheet out their plots to figure out how they can maximize kind of their earnings over a period of time.
It was really cool in the alpha to see players making these grids of how they were min-maxing the various spaces and kind of sharing that information. There was like a whole template that got developed for people thinking about this. And of course, this is a live service game, so it's going to continue to evolve. So expect us to shuffle up that meta from time to time.
Yep.
And I love how much you guys,
Cool,
as
keeping it fresh for everybody.
Y'all as Singularity 6, really do listen to the community and take that player feedback. So when you
Ooh,
get
they're gonna show
grids
this
and stuff
too?
like
Okay.
that, when you see players sharing those kind of things in the alpha, do any of those things ever make it into the game?
So you can't see here. I'll bring my camera down really quick to show you.
To understate the impact.
So right here, this is the total that is accumulated if they were to sell all of these items. So this is your shipping bin. This is basically how you sell items in the game, like to the NPCs. Not like individual NPCs, but this is your default by sell. So this is the total amount that they can win, or not win, but the total amount that they can get from if they do sell all of those items, and they can sell twice a day, I believe. It's 6 a.m. and 6 at night, I believe. Maybe just once a day.
Getting adjusted to having players be part of the experience, and this is something that's going to continue as we go into the beta phase.
That's awesome. Thank you, everyone. Ambrielle, because we didn't get your input on gardening, is there a favorite crop that you like to grow the most?
Oh, I mean, we talked about how you don't have to replant tomatoes, and that's really nice. I think you've got to have a good variety to do a little bit of the min-maxing. It's fun because if you want your garden to be super aesthetic, you can plant whatever you want and you're not going to get any downsides. There's no harm in just planting all tomatoes if you think that looks beautiful. But yeah, mixing and matching them gives you some fun bonuses.
Perfect. So whether you're going for
Well, you're also
beauty
gonna
or
need them for
min-maxing or a
crafting and
little
stuff
bit of both,
too,
you'll
so.
be all set. All right, we touched on some of the villagers that live in Kilima Village, and I'd love to do a bit of a more of an in-depth look at those villagers if we could. So let's see. Let's walk through some of the.
Does he
villagers
not
that
look like
we
the guy
will
from
meet
Twilight? What is
in
the guy's
Kilima
name? Is
Village.
anybody here currently that
Olivia,
knows the name of the guy? I have to
describe
look
who
him
we're
up.
talking to right now.
This is
Zeke.
Zeki. He is a Grimulkin.
Zeki.
The Grimulkins are cats from outer space. They're like libertarian space
Like
pirates.
Star Fox.
And they run, in addition to the regular store, Zeki also runs the Kilima branch of the Grimalkin Underground, and that's where you can get cool magical items, maybe some more high-tech stuff, because remember they are from space. So if you want some technology that's
What is his
not,
name? Who's it that plays this guy?
something that would usually be available in like a small village, you can get that from the underground as well.
Oh,
he's, like,
Robert
one of my favorite
Pattinson. That's who he
characters to
looks like,
write.
dude. He looks just like
I love
Robert
his
Pattinson.
animations. I love
The
his
developer
humor.
sitting on the couch in the far left,
And
the
Olivia,
first
as
gentleman.
our lore expert here on the panel, can you tell us again why some items might be more underground than others?
I think I mentioned earlier, magic in Palia is a bit taboo. They grew up in the shadows of this human civilization that crumbled, and they were, a highly magical civilization, and so they have interpreted this as magic is dangerous.
Okay.
It's very regulated, and Zeki is against regulations, so whatever. It looks like we've gone to the city hall. This is Kenyatta. She's the daughter of the mayor, and she's kind of a rebellious teenager. She's been given this job as a way to like learn responsibility, but she's like pretty bored. She does not want to be working here. But the player coming and talking to her is like a good break in her day. So she always is welcoming the players when they come by City Hall.
Now, is Kenyatta also a romanceable option? I have to ask. Her style is so cool.
She is, and she has a very fun romance plot. We were very excited to write her romance.
Very cool.
I love it. And you said she exists in the world as the mayor's daughter?
Yes. She is the daughter of the mayor, who's like this kind of bumbling politician character, and the magistrate, who's his more like strict, sort of like upper crust, like Victorian aristocracy wife.
She knows how to get things done.
She's great. I love Eshe.
I love that. Well, Ambrielle, I'm going to pick your brain on Kenyatta's look in just a bit later on in the stream because her style is so cool. And now we're looking at Olivia, who I said you had said earlier might be one of your favorite characters, yes?
Yeah.
Yep.
Einar is a Galder. Galders are basically robots made by the ancient humans, but they've been kind of hanging around Palia for
They're like
thousands of
golems
years.
is kind of the way that I look at them.
They were all programmed with something called the oneness, and that's like the one thing in the world that makes them happy. So Einar loves to fish. We have another Galder who loves to like take care of people. She used to be a nanny back in the day, so she's very caring, very loving. And we have a lot of fun Galder characters.
So the Galder follow their programming very closely, even though they were programmed thousands of years prior?
It has become a little bit disconnected. So like if there was a Galder who wanted to, or who was made to build houses, now they might say like, stack rocks by the beach and watch them fall. Because the oneness is in the act of doing the thing, it's not in the results. So I think that it's
Very interesting
it's like
race.
a cool way to kind of talk about like, that one thing that you
They're showing you in the
love
background, by the way,
and how
up
that
here. They're not
evolves
mentioning
over
it, but
time.
when you talk to the
That's
individual
like they're
characters, it
programmed
does
with a passion.
increase
Yeah, but not
like
with an
their
end goal.
relationship
Exactly.
between them, and you'll
And
see that
we're
on the
gonna
far
see some
right-hand
really
side that
fun
pops
ways
up.
that the lore will play with this kind of concept over time. So
It's still hiding it
it's
behind their box
interesting.
currently.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite things that like the writing team has had fun playing with and like taking it just a bunch of different directions.
That's awesome. Okay, so I asked if we had different romanceable villagers that we can speak to in Kilima Village, and let's really get into this. How can I be friends with the folks I meet in Palia?
There
Perfect. They're
are
gonna show the
several
tab.
ways
All right, awesome.
to kind of gain friendship points. This is our friendship tracker. So you can see that Maddie is friendship level 2 with Ashura right now. But the several ways of getting to know them are
You can see that you can unlock additional things
so you
after
talk to them
getting
once
so
every
friendly
daily
with
and
that
daily,
individual
which resets
NPC.
every hour. You can also give them gifts once every real world day, and they have these special gifts that they like called weekly wants. and those you can discover through talking to the villagers what they want that week, or you can even talk to their friends. So if you're talking to Gina, she might tell you what her best friend Hecla wants that week. And once you learn it, it'll show up on the weekly want UI.
Perfect. So it tracks it all for you, which is really nice. You don't have to remember,
That's really
you know,
cool
what
that you
each
can
individual
get to
gift
know
was that was
their
mentioned to you,
friends.
or
It
go
makes
back
it
to them
feel
several
like a
times for the
living,
same
breathing
dialogue.
society that
Yeah.
you're a part of. That's awesome. Ambrielle, question for you. When you play games like Palia, or when you're playing Palia, do you like to focus on friendship and society first and foremost, or do you like to focus on your gardening and your home plot like we've seen earlier?
Yeah, I think in games and in life, I'm more of an introvert. And so I'm usually focused a little bit more on skills, a little bit more on building my house. But like Olivia, my first priority is becoming best friends with A&R. And after that, mostly focused on the house.
This isn't too much of a spoiler because you learned it early on, but Einar will always accept shiny pebbles.
Yes.
And
secret.
you
Yeah.
can find those through the various types of skill gameplay.
I'm pretty much always holding at least one just in case
Yeah.
the timer's up.
So I have to ask, is every villager we meet has their own friendship meter? Are they all romanceable?
They're not all romanceable.
Okay.
They're all friendable. So
Okay.
we wanted the main way that you get to know characters to actually be through their friendship, because you can have like really great.
You can tell which one that
relationships
looks.
with
It
people that
looks
you're
like
not
you can
romantically
tell which one is
involved with,
romanceable
right?
by having a second bar down at the bottom. You
So,
can
like,
see
their
like this one
main
here
story is their
has a second
friendship,
one. Reach level
but,
3 of friendship. The
certain
first one to unlock the
characters,
second bar.
Also have a separate romance meter you can unlock once you're close enough friends with them.
Oh, I was right.
You can give them a romantic gift and enter in that romance, and that unlocks a new story.
And you can always see that on the UI, you know, which ones have the romance option that you can unlock. So if you want to check, you know, definitely an easy spot to go to.
And there may be some characters who are not romanceable yet that could be in the future. So it's
Yeah, very
always
cool.
something we're adding.
And if you want
Dude,
to
he looks
unlock
just
all the
like
quests,
that
I
guy.
like to tick off all the boxes. Is it possible to romance more than one character within Palia?
Yes. So at the state of the game we're in right now, you know, again, like we're a living, breathing world. It kind of like as far into a romantic relationship you can get is kind of like the early courting stage. So you're allowed to romance as many people in that stage as you want. At the end of their romance plotline, they'll give you something called a pin, which means they really like you. And then you can wear that pin and people will comment on, oh, you're dating so-and-so, that's awesome. And you can equip up to 2 pins.
That is the cutest
What?
thing I've ever
2
heard,
pins?
and I'm
So you
here
can like
for
be in a
it.
relationship,
All
a serious
right, so
relationship
as
with
I
2
said,
different
I
people in the
love
game.
to
Interesting.
go on quests, whether they're romanceable quests, non-romanceable quests. So let's go ahead and go on a quest and see what that looks like. So for Maxwell, describe to us where we're going right now and what we're about to see.
Yeah, so we're jumping into a quest a little bit into the game now where the player, as they've been exploring kind of these ancient ruins, has come upon a bit of a barrier for themselves, and they've been directed to find Najuma, who, Olivia, if you want to give a quick intro for Najuma.
Yeah, Najuma is the miner's daughter, so Hodari's daughter, and she is kind of a shy teenager, and she's an inventor, but a lot of her inventions are kind of dangerous, so her dad doesn't really like her doing
Kind of reminds
that
me of
kind
like a
stuff.
tiny Tina.
But one of the
But
things
more
she
like,
invented
you
is
know.
a glider, and Gina knows about this glider, the archaeologist, so she is told to hunt down Najuma to build the glider so that you can kind of
Rapthorn, what's going on, my man?
further.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna have to make this glider, we're gonna have to go
Home early
do a
today.
little bit of gameplay and find some materials.
Okay, perfect. And is there a reason that Najuma's the one who is like the keeper of the glider, if you will?
It's just because it was
She's
her
inventor.
invention.
Oh, got it.
So
Cool.
that's the way, she's the only one who knows how to make them.
I see, but soon we will learn how to make them. So Maddie is now gathering the resources, yes, and we'll gather the resources needed, and then where do we
Get
go from
back
there,
to work.
Maxwell?
Work,
So
work.
looks like we're gonna do it the hard way and manually go through, chop some trees. We need to get some leather, so that means we're gonna have to do a little bit of hunting. And then lastly, get some fabric, which we can grow cotton at the home plot. So we're collecting everything we can here, and I think once we get that, we'll be able to go back and use some of our auto crafters on the home plot to make the final pieces required. So.
Now, when you said Maddie's doing this the hard way, that leads me to believe that you would play this differently.
Yeah, I hate growing cotton myself, so I tend to just buy it from Tish's shop and jump straight ahead and make this quest a little easier on myself.
Got it.
Interesting.
And you buy it.
That's a
from
little
the
tip to
shop
know.
because you're trading it, or how does that work?
Yeah, so a number of our NPCs or villagers run shops, and we try to make sure that players always have an option available to them if they don't want to engage in a particular system. So in this case, you know, I don't really like to make the fabric myself, so I'll go to her shop and just get it myself.
So he just buys it basically from there versus growing it.
I
You can,
love that.
you can play either direction.
With a game that you're going to exist in for tens, potentially hundreds of hours, having the option to play the way you want to play is really important.
Absolutely. It's been a core part that we tried to build into Palia kind of throughout the experience the whole time. So, and also the alphas really helped us kind of tune in parts of that just, you know, to the right balance.
Excellent. And I see it looks like we're really putting together this glider piece by piece. Olivia, how do we make a glider if it's not too much of a spoiler?
It's not. Right now you're making wood planks with our auto crafter system. Maxwell can probably tell you a little bit more about how the auto crafters work, but you're going to be making fabric and planks and and leather and all the ingredients you need for the glider.
Yeah, and so a player over time will acquire
This is nice because they've set it up purposely to give you an example of how it functions. This is basically how it functions for other recipes too. They're just making the glider currently.
And turn it into, you know, higher tier objects that they can, you know, make.
Dude, I agree, Kellogg.
We saw earlier, like adding that addition to the house, which requires you to get the planks created.
Yeah, that's a lot of resources, I would imagine. So we've got a bunch of things going at the same time here. Do we finally have everything we need to make this glider, or we have a couple steps left?
I think we just have to get all the items back to Najuma so that she can put it together.
Yeah, it looks like we skipped ahead here. All the auto crafters work on a real-time system, so there is a little bit of time once you put your stuff in there that you'll have to wait.
Yeah, but that's why when you go level up other resources and other skills.
There's so much to do in Palia that if I have to wait 5 minutes for leather, then that means I can go out and catch some
explore,
insects, or
do other things,
some hunting, or put some time into another skill that I may not have had the time to invest in before.
Exactly.
So I feel like it's really encouraging a really mixed gameplay experience. Yes.
Yeah, it's also a great opportunity if you maybe want to take a break at a time. You can load up your auto crafters, take the break, come back, and things will be ready for you.
I mean, bio breaks. Come on, who needs that? Who needs that? All right, we're back to Najuma now. We've got all the supplies. So now Najuma is going to assemble this forest. You said this isn't something we need to craft on the workbench?
Yeah, so the things that you craft in the workbench are things that you can craft an infinite number of times. The glider you only craft once, so Najuma does it for you.
That's awesome. All right, now.
So I got a question for Q&A. Will they introduce new gliders?
I certainly want to play with my friends in multiplayer.
That's a good question to write down.
About how multiplayer works within Palia. Ambriel.
Yeah, there's tons of things that you can do in Palia with your friends, and most of them are better for it. All of the skills that we looked at previously.
Yeah, so Palia is the name of the world.
Like we're seeing here.
And the name of the game.
Okay, so we're buddying up and doing it together. And do we share?
And the people are Palians
that we're gathering here. Is there a shared loot system? How does that work?
Yeah, so anytime you're playing with friends or even just random folks in the world, as long as you participate in the activity, we want to make sure everyone gets the same kind of rewards. So
yeah, so it's independent loot.
We've got 2 players here that are chopping the tree. Both of them receive a loot pile that they can pick up and acquire. And that holds true across all of our various skills. So we really want to make sure players don't feel like they are kind of taking away from another player and allow them to join up and have fun together.
Great, that makes sense. And I think I'm seeing now that Taylor and Nadia
it's downloading currently.
They're chopping down these trees twice as fast. So is there a world where I could get 5 or 6 friends together to really just go through a whole area and we're all getting the loot? So it's just like a great way to get lots of loot.
Definitely possible. Some of our players have do what they call deforestation efforts on sides of the map where they'll group together and try to clear out a zone. We also have a couple opportunities where we really want you to join with some friends. So you may see certain trees out in the wilderness that you're gonna need to partner up to really take out.
Oh, wow, like just like a really massive tree.
massive tree or maybe something a little magical.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty
Okay,
cool.
No more spoilers.
No
I'll be quiet
spoilers.
on that one. It looks like Maddie and Taylor now are fishing. Is there more to fishing together than just having really great conversations, or is it, kind of like being away from the keyboard where you're fishing with a friend over, over a drink or something like that?
Yeah, so as long as you fish near another player, you actually both start to receive a little bit of a buff while playing. We also have an option where, and I love doing this, but if someone's struggling with the fishing minigame and you're able to walk up to them, you can give them a little bit of encouragement to help save them in that moment and help them catch that fish. And it's a really great, lovable moment that people can do together.
Can multiple people offer fishing encouragement to one player?
Yep, you can all join in and try to, cheer them on and make sure that they succeed.
All right, I feel like next time I'm in Palia, I want to get a bunch of friends together.
Dude,
and
I'm a
do
master
fishing
fisherman, baby.
squad.
That's what I want.
And applaud everyone so that they can catch whatever fish they like. I think that's maybe the way I'm going to play it moving forward. Ambrielle, have you had any experience with the cheering on friends in fishing?
Oh yeah, especially like we've been talking about, the minigame is a little tricky to get the hang of because it's not super simple. And once you get in there, it's definitely approachable. But yeah, some of those more rare fish, the ones with stars, they're pretty hard to catch. And so it's always great to run by, cheer for your friends. Even more fun when you don't know the player to just run by and have a nice little moment and then carry on with what you're doing.
I always go and clap someone whenever I see them catch a fish. I'll just run up and clap and then walk away.
Just a little random act of kindness to
It
bring
is pretty cool.
positivity
Like I
to
said, the
someone's
community
day.
behind Palia is
I'm here for it.
really,
So,
really
at
nice
least
and
with
really friendly. It's pretty
gatherings
amazing,
so far
like the
with
community that has
fishing
been
and the
built
things
around the
we've seen.
game from
Do you
the
think it's
play
safe
test.
to say that, Palia can be made even better with friends, if you will? It's fun single player, but when you pair up with friends, you're getting more rewards faster. You're getting that
What is this thing?
positivity
I've
in
never seen this
fishing.
thing before.
Is it safe to say that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's been one of our core philosophies in designing any of the skills is that, we want you to be able to do things by yourself, but we really want to make sure it's better when
It's like
you
an
engage
incense,
with
so it
other
attracts
players. And,
incense to that area to.
An example here that we're seeing. this is
Bro, I've never
which is
seen this or
a
experienced
later
before.
Stage item in
What?
the game for our insect catching skill. It's open to anyone to come in, and so players that acquire these and craft them, they usually like to call out in the servers of like, hey, I've got a honey lure, anyone want to join up and we'll catch some insects? And so anyone can come in and start to, jump into this party where—
That's very cool,
you can
dude.
see in the screen, there's tons of insects just showing up now. And they can also combo if, one of the rare insects show up here and try to catch it together, so.
And how would you combo to catch an insect?
Yeah, so as long as you try to throw your smoke bomb at one of the insects with your friend, you'll be considered as participating in that, and we'll reward you on it. And each time a player adds their smoke bomb to it, we give a little bit of an extra chance to catch the insect.
We also just have different smoke bomb types. So you might just have a basic one, and you might have a special one that has some sort of effect on the bug that makes it easier to catch.
Yes.
Okay, so
Very
pairing up with
cool.
friends who have special smoke bombs is the
Dude, I
prototype
freaking love this
right
game,
now.
dude.
And now we're moving
Oh.
into hunting together. Ambrielle, what would be the benefit of hunting together?
I can't wait,
Yeah,
man.
so if you have terrible aim like me, it is helpful to have someone with better aim come with you, or even two people with bad aim. You'll get there. We're pretty forgiving with the hitboxes.
3,
but
2, 1.
You can sneak up on these Sernuk for
Nice double
depending
shot.
on the tier of your bow and how skilled you are in hunting. They're going to take more than one shot, which means you're going to be really running around, and they're very fast and hard to
Yep,
keep
chasing
up
them
with.
down,
So
hunting
having
them.
2 shots or even more in a hunting party can really help, especially in the early game.
Okay, and I'm guessing that this works similar to insect catching, where anyone who participates in the hunting may get credit and may get the overall loot and resource for hunting, correct?
Correct. As long as you're trying to take that shot, we'll count it.
Awesome. And I see some farming together. Are we gardening
Yep.
together?
Dude, it's
to get
such
it
a
done faster?
cooperative
Is that
game. I mean,
thought
the
here?
title, I mean, it is
Yeah, so you
an
can-
MMO.
you
That's
can
the whole
always join
purpose.
your friend's house at their house and help them do a little bit of gardening by watering their crops or tilling their soil.
But I assume that it's not the same style of shared loot when it comes to harvesting, because you don't want everyone to come and harvest all your crops.
Yeah, this is one instance where you'll get the items yourself. Your
Right.
friend.
Yeah,
isn't
see,
gonna
they're
be able to
showing this
steal your
again. They're
garden
showing this
from
again,
you,
and
as
they
funny as
haven't
that
discussed
might
it, though. I'm
be,
curious to
with
see if they're
close
going to
friends.
discuss it.
So,
So whoever's plot it is, that's whose harvest it is.
yes.
Exactly.
Okay. Great. Okay, perfect. Thank you for sharing that. Now, what is that menu we just looked at? Is that a little emote menu?
Emotes.
It is, yeah. So this is what you would do exactly to cheer somebody on in fishing, but you can also just do it for fun when you're with your friends.
Clap, clap, clap,
Celebrating
clap, clap,
a
clap.
great harvest with Jay.
Ooh,
All right, now that
cooking
we've
menu
harvested,
finally. Look at this preparation
this
menu,
is the
dude.
first time we're taking a look at cooking. Tell me how we cook, what the benefits of cooking are, and kind of how all of that works.
Yeah, so this is the main feature for using all those gardening crops you're growing. It's a skill that we really wanted to focus on multiplayer gameplay in particular. And so sort of like real world cooking, if you're by yourself, it's gonna be a little chaotic because you're jumping between different stations. You need to, chop some veggies, you need to flip the pan. But with a friend, you can combo that up and make it a little bit easier. So we have a number of mini games as part of the cooking activity. This one is the chopping one, but there's also a flipping, a stirring, and a rolling activity that you'll be asked to do. As players, collaborate as long as, again, you help in making of this dish, you kind of share in on that final dish.
Look at the guy with the knife just posted up. Jay over here on the side.
You mentioned earlier, but star quality dishes you'll be able to place on your plot. So, we see players often make a beautiful spread on their tables of their cooking activities.
Are there any particular perks or buffs or anything that you would get from a higher star quality meal?
Yeah, so cooking and food basically fill your focus meter, which focus in the game really feeds into
They're gonna
all of
explain
your
it right here.
progression. So as you do activities in the game and you level up each of your skills, as long as you have focus, we're giving you a benefit or a bonus on that experience earned. So it's definitely beneficial if you want to really push forward in the game to keep your focus meter full and make sure you're consuming food at a regular basis.
I feel like that's a very stress-free take on a traditional survival mechanic within a game like this. Where it's
Yeah,
not like,
basically.
I need to eat and drink and sleep and keep all of that running in order to do this. Instead, you're rewarded for having your focus.
Yeah,
meter
you can
full.
do all
Correct,
that stuff
Amber?
having no focus
Yeah,
as Maddie
absolutely.
has in the
It's
top
sort of
left-hand
like a lot
side.
of
Her
things
bar
we
is
talked
completely
about,
empty.
with
That just means she's
gardening.
not
You can really
receiving any
min-max if
bonus
you want, but
experience.
you're not going to be punished for not doing the optimal thing. And
Correct.
same with focus. It's really beneficial to have a snack before you go out, just like in real life,
Yep.
but you're going to be fine.
Smalls,
So.
what's going on?
Just like in real life. I love a good snack before I go out, and in fact, had one today. All right. I've seen some pretty incredible looks today, some really nice fits on our villagers and on our characters. How would I go about increasing my own look and my own vibe check, if you will? Ambriel, tell us about how we can look our best in Palia.
Yeah, so we're running into Gel's shop right now, which is one of my favorite NPCs. And we're checking out
I think it
all
looks
of
really
the
cool.
different
He reminds me of
options that we
Johnny
have.
Depp.
So we saw at the very beginning when we looked in Character Creator, there's a bunch of different options that are all available to players for free as soon as they start playing. And you can open up your wardrobe, which can be on your housing plot, at the stables, or you can come visit Gel's shop, which is the fun way to do it in town. And you can see all of those options that we saw in character creation for hair and all of these different outfits and accessories. And then now we're taking a look at some of the premium options. So these are, they get a little bit crazier. We have some fun options to mix and match here. Swap all of the colors so that you can take one piece from one outfit and mix and match it with
with
a bunch of
another
other
one.
ones and
Ooh,
try
we
to
got some
create something
antlers.
that's really unique to you. Yeah.
Ooh,
we're
those
gonna
have
do
some
of-
move. This
This
those.
is a fan favorite so
Ooh.
far for Sixers, and I think probably for players too.
Are those shiny antlers we were just looking at? That's
Yep.
very cool.
Exactly.
That's very cool. Now, you mentioned that some of the items are more premium, and we're here at Gel's shop. So
Yeah.
what is the currency in the world of Palia? Are we trading for this really cool bug that we just caught, or how does that work?
Yeah, so this shop is the only place right now where you are using real world currency. So this is our premium store. For everything
So
else
this is
in the
like their
world, you're using gold,
microtransactions,
which you're
basically.
getting
It's
through
all
insect
cosmetic.
catching, any of the other skills that you're just gaining normally throughout play.
Is that the mayor's jacket? Are we?
It's pretty
Can you buy the
close.
mayor's
Pretty close,
jacket?
It is pretty fun to try to get some
The
outfits
Choppa
that maybe
suit,
match
that's a
your
fan favorite.
NPC or someone you're maybe trying to impress. Get something that maybe would appeal to them.
Very nice. And what is this that we're looking at right now? That looks comfy.
Yeah, we have to pause on this one. This is a super comfortable look. This is always what I like to be wearing at my housing plot. I like to have different outfits for every occasion in Palia.
Every occasion.
And this is the one I would prefer to be wearing in real life too.
Yep,
Yes,
the
I
Choppa
think
suit.
next time we
It's
all
the
get
best.
together in this inn and do this stream, we should all be wearing that one.
A Choppa.
That would be perfect.
Dude, there better be a Choppa
That's it.
onesie
We have it.
IRL. Like,
Oh
let's
my
go.
goodness, is that a musical instrument, Max?
It's a harp.
Maxwell, what?
Harp
what
guitar?
is that? Or can we play guitar in Palia?
That was the Bard Star outfit, which, yeah, if you really want to live the rock and roll glam lifestyle, that's your outfit for you. Can't play instruments yet.
Okay,
But
yet.
it's definitely something we could do in the future. We'll see.
I love that. And you know, there's a lot of people who want to live their best bard life. So I love that.
Dude,
we
there's
have
so
able
many
for that.
more
Now, all of the
cosmetics,
looks
man.
that we're seeing
So
right
many.
Now, are these things players can expect to see during Palia's beta?
Yeah, absolutely. So everything we're looking at now will be available during the beta, as well as probably a couple more options too.
Let's
And then we're
go.
going to be releasing new options all the time. There's already a pretty good breadth of expressions here that you could choose depending on
Dude, there's
what
a ton.
fantasy you want to have
There's a
in Palia,
ton.
what kind of player you want to be. And we hope to add to
The
that all the
skirt
time
looks
so that
funny.
You can always find new expressions for that.
Oh, wait, you guys can't even
Yeah,
see because
some
my
of the-
camera's been
some
up
of
here.
The looks that we're seeing right now look a little more real world inspired, while some of them do look a little magical and more high fantasy. Kind of like the look that we're seeing right now. What is
Absolutely.
this specific outfit?
Yeah, this is the Soothsayer outfit, and you can see that there's 3 versions of the Soothsayer outfit that all have a very different vibe to them. This one has the twinkling stars on the underside of the
Yeah, that's
the
very
bottom,
cool.
which I love.
I
Really
love
fun
the
to see on
animations
clothing.
to the costumes.
Yeah, this is pretty much the outfit that you'll almost always find me in, or at least some parts of it mixed and matched with others.
Awesome. Now, does the Soothsayer outfit give you any type of buff or bonus, or are these items strictly cosmetic at this point?
Strictly cosmetic, so we want to make sure that nothing that would hold
Is
you back from
hindering you.
gameplay is pay-gated in any way.
Great.
So these are, we think expression is a really big part of Palia, and players are going to want to show off the kind of personality they have and change that as often as they want to. So we want to have a lot of options there, but we also want to make sure that there's nothing that's going to block you from gameplay, no bonuses, no pay to win. Yeah.
Which is
I
cool.
feel like
Very
in
cool.
terms of look, from what we've seen of Palia so far, it's very cozy, but there's such a wide variety at the same time. And I want to ask a little bit
Dude,
about
I want
what
one
it
of those.
takes to
I want one
bring
of those
that art style
plushies,
of
man.
Palia to life. So can you speak to the efforts of your team a little bit, Ambrielle?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a ton that goes into it and a bunch of super talented developers. It all starts with an idea, obviously, and that comes from a bunch of different inspirations, whether it's from personal taste from individual artists, whether it's from inspiration from different media that we like, different art that we like, the world of Palia. It's a wide world already right now, but it's going to get
Soothsayer
so much
is what it's
bigger.
called.
Like we keep
Soothsayer
talking about, there's a
costume
lot
design.
that will unveil in the future, and we try to take inspiration from all of those things as we translate it from a concept to modeling, rigging, getting it into game, animating it, all kinds of different texture, material treatments, and of course testing it through our awesome QA team.
Yeah, it's a very in-depth process, but it really does pay off when you get to see it in world. And Maxwell, would you say the same for your team as well? It's, you know, walk us through that process a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. When we think about creating the world and that cozy vibe, there's a lot of intentional thought put behind, you know, shape language and color palette in the game, and I think we'll see a little bit of that in a second. So the team is constantly trying to find a way of like balancing how do we make sure a player can, you know, express themselves in whatever real world aesthetic they want, but also make it match appropriately with the world of Palia.
That makes sense. All right, now earlier when we met Kenyatta, Ambrielle, I said let's talk about this a little later in the stream, but Kenyatta has a very unique style, and I feel like we get to see so much of her personality just in her look. Can we talk about how her signature look came to be?
Absolutely. I love looking at these concepts. I think it's really cool when you see a sheet like this and you can instantly get an idea of who the character is. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. You can see even with some of the notes here, like if she actually wore the jacket properly, this is what it would look like, but you will never catch her doing that. She's always having it tied around her waist. So you can really see the sass that comes through, which is really rooted in how the character's narrative is shaped
Pretty
by
cool.
Olivia's team.
What's going on, Silu?
And it's sort of input from all disciplines, figuring out how we bring this character to life. Even seeing like some of the small details in how her jacket matches the same fabric as her mom, Esha, who she's not always the biggest fan of outwardly, but there's still some ties there. Yeah.
I think it's wonderful. I'm so glad that
The
we're getting a look
thigh-high
at this
boots, man. That would take
concept art, because
forever to tie.
I don't know that I would have picked out right away that that was a blazer that was tied around her waist, but you're right. It says so much about her character that, you know, you can see how her mother would love her to dress. But she's doing her own thing, and I am here for it. All right, let's go
Pretty
back
cool.
to Maxwell, what you were saying kind of about the game's style overall, and how you were able to pull some real-world inspiration, some fantasy inspiration into a look that still feels very cozy and lovely and warm.
Yeah, our art director Jeremy has done a phenomenal job kind of finding this cozy vibe and how we influence every object in the world. And we can see, looking at Kilima's library here, look at the architecture and how we have these like curved edges, you know, soft shapes, pastel colors to soften kind of the mood. Trying to avoid like hard points that the player could, you know, accidentally brush against and feel pain. So everything is meant to feel like cozy and comfortable.
Yeah, and I assume this design philosophy holds for the interiors as well?
Yeah, it goes through all of our decor objects. So if we look at the bed here in a second, as we try to like take influences.
It's pretty detailed, man. Every individual piece has a lot of detail that goes into the design.
More like aristocratic vibe look like, but still feel cozy at the end of the day. You can see that come through in this. Again, trying to smooth things off. We've got the nice silk bedding on it.
I also like how they gave you the real world perspective of your character size next to the bed or the headboard.
But is that reflected in how one would craft the items then as well? So you need the more premium fabrics to make the more premium furniture.
Of course.
Yep. As you saw, that had silk in it. You're probably going to have to get some silk in the game to make that bed.
All right. Awesome. We have already seen so much, but I am getting the feeling that there's more to Palia than meets the eye.
Absolutely. As much as we've gotten to run through
dude,
today,
he looks
it's
just
still
like
a
Robert,
sliver
dude.
of all the things out there to experience in Palia. We do have one other really exciting thing that we wanted to show off today, which is looking at our first adventure zone, Bahari Bay.
Ooh, they're gonna showcase it. Interesting. I didn't know if they were going to.
Where our first zone that we've been looking through, Kilima, compared to this zone, which is meant to be our title for them, our adventure zones, we're really trying to capture this sense of exploration, this kind of greater sense of scale. But this is also functionally where you're going to be doing a lot of the higher end gathering, where you're going to be doing a lot of collaborating with other players, finding so many of those hidden things, those boxes and such that we were talking about earlier. It's just going to be a fun place to explore and a really different vibe from what you get at Kilima.
And Bahari Bay, as you see it now, is just the beginning. Like, we're going to be coming out with new adventure zones. We're also going to be revisiting adventure zones you've already seen. So if a door is closed, you may see it open later.
I see.
Very cool.
So you may have thought that you explored Bahari Bay and then returned to it later only to find out that a new door is open and there's much more to explore.
Much more to
My
explore.
goodness, there is so much
very nice.
to take in.
I'm excited for the beta, dude, to see like what kind of content they all bring.
Watching, when can players get their hands on Palia?
First off, really important thing, sign up at palia.com. That'll give you a chance to get into our upcoming
closed betas,
beta,
baby.
Which you can see here. So definitely something big to look forward to. Again, sign up at palia.com.
Awesome. I can.
Oh, he didn't drop a release date. I thought he was going to.
I'm super stoked. Thank you to everyone.
I thought he was going to drop one.
Thank you to our wonderful panel that we have here today. It has been such a pleasure being here. So I'd like to close it out with all of you telling us what you are most excited for players to get their hands on Palia. Aiden?
Wow, it's hard to pick just one thing, but after all this time, I just can't wait to see players be in the space, to get to, be playing the game, see the world of Palia filled with life the way we always intended it. So I'm just excited to see you all in Palia as a part of the experience and see how everything speaks to you.
Oh, we are excited too. All right, Olivia, what are you most looking forward to from players in the closed beta?
I can't wait for players to meet the characters that I've been spending the last 3 years getting to know, and our entire development team has been spending the last 3 years getting to know. So I can't
Dude,
wait
I
for
would
everyone
love to
meet,
know like what it takes in the back end, for character development.
It's going to be amazing. All right, Maxwell, what excites you the most about players joining into the world of
Maxwell
Palia.
seems like a pretty cool guy.
kind of touched on it, but I'm very excited to see how players respond to the game, especially later in the game when they're progressing and what they do with their houses and how they customize it. Like,
Yeah, I do
we've
have a
already seen
referral
a ton of
code. Yeah, I
creativity
do.
in our
Yeah,
alphas,
exclamation
and
point Palia in
once
the
we
chat.
open it up to even more players, I expect we're going to see
Right here, Nightbot will post it for you.
And for you,
If you want to
Andrea,
pre-register for the
what are
game.
you most
From my
excited
understanding,
to
I
see
think they
once
didn't disclose it in
players
this
finally
live
jump
stream,
into
but
the
I'm pretty
world of
sure they've already
Palia?
mentioned before in the
I'm
past that
really
the game is
excited to
technically
start
going to be
seeing
free
players
coming out besides
playing
just
together.
cosmetics. So I
I
could be
think when we
wrong
have a
about that,
really
but it is going to be
chat
launching
going
on
there's folks inviting each other
the
over
Switch
to
and
come
also
cook
the
together,
PC.
let's go
So,
insect catching
but that is
together,
my
and
referral
bringing
account.
that kind of social experience back to the game.
I think it's going to be really fun. All right, again, thank you to everyone for being here today. Thank you all for watching. Stick around for an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at our live orchestra recording by Palia's composer, Stefan Schmidt. And we will see
Very
you
cool.
in Palia. Bye, everyone.
Awesome, dude. Very nice. Sign up for the beta. I don't know how loud this is going to be. I might have to control it. It's pretty wild to me that they have went this far as coming up with like a full live orchestra to produce all of the game's music, which is just wild to think. Thanks, Rap. I appreciate it, buddy. Hey, they just dropped the patch notes, by the way, for D4. So if you don't mind, if you got a second, dude, I would love to get like a paraphrase or something, just some big highlights that I need to know that to mention. And this is some of the music, by the way, that you'll hear in the game, which I think is really strong. Very cool. Thanks for watching Palia. Dude, it looks so good, man. Looks so stinking good. Is that it? Is that the official live stream? I think it is. Wow, it looks so good. Oh, man, dude, I cannot wait to jump into the game, dude. I cannot wait. Looks so awesome, man. If you guys have not subscribed to the Palia's channel, by the way, you guys need to do it. You guys need to do it. It's so good. I'll post it right here for you guys. So this is Palia's official page. If you guys want to subscribe, definitely go subscribe over there to the YouTube channel. Man, dude, it's going to be such a good game.